You are listening to Single Smart Female.
This is us letting it all hang out about your love life, examining Steph's dating experiences, and answering your hot topic dating questions. Just you, Steph, and me. No topic is off limits and no filters involved. This is Jen.
And I'm Steph. If you have a question about your love life that you would like us to answer, you can submit your question at singlesmartfemale.com.
Welcome to show number 1. Yes, that's the very first episode of Single Smart Female. I'm excited to be here with you today. This is Jen, and Steph, my co-host, is here today. And I think what we're going to do, well, before we do what we're going to do, I am going to ask you, Steph, how are you doing today? How's it going?
I'm very well. Thank you, Jen.
How's your life treating you?
You want the honest answer?
Yes. I always want the honest. We're promising no filters here, so we're going to deliver no fucking filters.
Oh, God.
I won't look at you, and you can go ahead and answer me.
It does make me a little uncomfortable to tell people that I'm not feeling amazing today.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate, or do you want to leave it at that?
Well, I'm going to leave it at that for now. No filters, but maybe a stop.
Stop. Okay, we should establish a safe word.
Banana.
Ladies out there, our single smart ladies, we've now established our very first
safe word.
Safe word. It is banana. Are you using your safe word?
I'm using my safe word.
Okay, let's move on then. For our very first episode of Single Smart Female, we are going to dive into some questions that I have gotten from women at singlesmartfemale.com as we've been promoting the show. And I'll just let you know that I haven't told Steph what the questions are yet. So this should be an extraordinarily exciting opportunity to listen to what the fuck she has to say, as well as what the fuck I have to say. So I guess we should just dive in. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. We're starting with a submission from a lovely lady who is in Europe right now. She is 43 years old, and she is not particularly focused on any man, although there is somebody that she does like. And she wanted me to know that she was separated 2 years ago after a 7-year relationship. And during these 2 years, she went out with different guys. Now, she had a great question for us. She says, the guy that I started seeing again is one that we were in a relationship for 5 months about a year ago. I really like him. I feel safe around him. I feel like I can just be myself around him. We always have a great time together, but this dude's my word, not hers, has commitment issues. He goes MIA from time to time, and that was the reason for our breakup the first time around. Now he has started the same. He has disappeared for a week, no texts, calls, etc. Should I cut all contact? She also wanted us to know that and this is a little bit about her love history, which is something that Steph and I always have to take into account when answering any of your love life questions. It helps give, especially me, a much better picture to dive deeper. What she wanted us to know about her love life is that she got separated 2 years ago after a 7-year relationship. And during these 2 years, she went out with many different guys, but only had intimate relationship with 2 of the men. And with these guys she was dating for, the first one was 5 months and the other one was 3 months. And let's see, anything else we need to know? I've already covered she's from Europe. She's 43. And she has indicated to us that she needs our help.
Okay.
You want to start or do you want me to?
I'm happy to start. Basically, what she's asking is if she should cut all ties with this man.
Yes.
Because he's going MIA for a week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't need to cut all ties. You need to open up your options. Jen, would you like to elaborate on that?
Steph, you have been a great student, and I love you for that. This is Jen, and yeah, Steph is absolutely right. The first thing you need to do is, no, you by no means need to cut off ties with him, but you do need to open up your options to other guys. What happens when you're dating a guy that goes MIA? Before I even go there, my husband, my now husband, used to go MIA for sometimes 5-6 weeks at a time, and I could have let it drive me crazy, but I decided not to, and you want to know why? Because I had other options and men to focus on too. And little by little, his bad behavior started to fall away. This is what Steph and I call mantourage dating and what we teach at havehimyourway.com. Go to mantouragedating.com to learn what the basics are and what the frequently asked questions we get from women and, basically how to structure dating more than one man at a time. So it's essentially dating more than one man at a time until you meet your forever man or indefinitely if you so choose, because we women can do whatever the hell we want in romance.
Oh, shit.
We're having a little bit of a good time here. A little bit too good of a time here is what I was trying to say. But it's really common for us to get frustrated with men who do this. And I cannot guarantee 100% that this man will step up for you and end up being your forever man. But what I do know and what I have seen time and time again is it is okay to include him in your mantourage and not cut off all contact with him. There's one exception to that, and I'll get that to just a second. But to allow him to do that and let him unravel all of his complicated behaviors until he decides that he can be the man of your dreams. Does not mean that he will end up being the man of your dreams, but I have seen it enough times to know that if he doesn't step up, the man of your dreams actually will. And you're creating space by making that happen because you're focusing on what you want instead of focusing on the man individually.
Now I'd like to circle back to that exception I was telling you ladies about a little earlier when you shouldn't continue to date someone or keep them in your mantourage. And the only exception truly is if it is driving you crazy and making you 100% miserable. So for instance, one of the reasons that I was able to continue to date my husband and give him the space to man up in our relationship until he became the man of my dreams was because it wasn't driving me crazy. I had my attention on other men in my entourage when I wouldn't hear from him. It doesn't mean I didn't have any feelings towards it, but I wasn't losing my mind over it. You, on the other hand, if you're absolutely driving yourself nuts, and you know when you're driving yourself nuts, then that might be the point where if it hurts way too much emotionally, physically, all of that stuff, that might be the point that you might consider taking somebody out of your entourage. But you won't hear this other places. Most so-called dating experts are going to tell you if somebody isn't paying attention to you or treating you exactly like the way you want to be treated, you should just kick them to the curb. I don't believe that. I think we all come with our personality kinks to relationships, especially as we get later into life and get older. So if you give the man a chance to choose to step up for you versus trying to force him into that with ultimatums, with all that other crazy stuff, that all the pressure that we put on guys to be in a committed relationship, then while you're entourage dating, that's the way to keep your sanity. He will have that opportunity to step up. And if he doesn't, then you know that your higher power, your creator, whatever you believe in, what's bigger than you, is saying, hey, I've got something better in mind for you. Let's talk a little bit about the beauty of entourage dating. And I'm going to go ahead and shift this conversation over to Steph because I know she has some really interesting points about that.
Yes. So one of the best parts about entourage dating is that, number one, if you're hyper focusing on a man, it kind of stops you from doing that. A lot of times when we hyper focus on one person, it makes that person uncomfortable.
Energetically too. They don't necessarily know, but it just makes them weird about you.
Yeah, they can feel it whether you think you're doing anything or not. Just like constantly checking somebody's Facebook or, waiting for their text. Have you ever noticed that when you put your phone down and you start doing something else, somebody finally texts you? It's the same thing. So with that, it also, because you are seeing multiple men, it reminds you of how desirable you are. And number one, that completely changes the way you're feeling about the whole situation. When you realize that you are, that multiple people are interested in you, it kind of reminds you how valuable you are and makes you kind of pull back and know that you don't necessarily need this one specific person to pay attention to you right now. Yes, Jen.
You basically stop putting all of your eggs in his basket.
Exactly. Let's spread our eggs out.
Let's bless the world with our eggs.
So, and once you kind of remember how fucking amazing and hot you are, and believe me, I don't want to hear that shit about, well, I'm too this or I'm too that or my hair's too thin.
Nobody gives a shit, and it's not true.
Yeah, it's about who you are, and clearly if somebody wants to take you on a date, they're attracted to you and interested in you. So, when you start spending time with other people, that also shifts your energy from desperation to fun and playful, and men can also feel that. So that guy that's kind of been MIA for a week, somehow through the ether, he knows that you're seeing other men, and that's gonna...
You don't have to tell him.
Yeah, you don't have to. No, don't tell him. Don't tell him. You really don't have to. He'll know, and he will. He'll come back around. 90% of the time, he comes back around, and if he doesn't, then you're being protected.
And men have this crazy, crazy radar, just like you were talking about. They know when you're having fun with other men, and it's going to go off, and he won't be able to stop thinking about you.
Truth.
So wrapping all that and bringing that back together, yes, our lovely lady in Europe, we do want you to continue seeing this man, especially if you enjoy his company, because that's what love's about, is really enjoying having fun, being with somebody, sharing things. It's not just about all the serious stuff all the time, although, yes, we totally concede that does come into play. But in the dating stages, that's where you need to put your focus on the playful, the fun, the enjoyment, the pleasure, all of that. It is time for you to include some more men in the equation if you haven't already, because that's going to give you the ability to divert your attention when you need to and take this experience to the next level, so that he has the opportunity and the space, the opportunity, the choice to step up for you if he is truly your forever man.
Today's episode is brought to you by Make Him Want You Again online class. If you would like to learn exactly what to do, say, or text to make yourself irresistible and unforgettable in his mind, meet us over at makehimwantyouagain.com.
Today, and possibly every show, we will be diving into Steph's love life, which she is so very excited to share with all of you.
Dying to tell you everything.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us everything. Go. How is your love life treating you?
My love life is interesting. It's very interesting. I have been seeing someone, we'll call him Latin Lover, whom I very much enjoy.
I like him for you very much as well.
Thank you. Thank you. He's quite good to me, if I'm being honest. However, my dear Latin Lover is planning a move very shortly. He's going to be moving to a whole new city.
A whole new state, for that matter.
Yeah, a whole new state. And that kind of put me up against some challenges this week. And so I'm still kind of assessing.
And processing said challenges.
Exactly.
So where are you at emotionally with all that? I know you're processing, but how are you feeling?
You know, most of the time I'm feeling pretty fine. Mm-hmm. But anytime we try and have a conversation about what's next, it gets a little tough for me. I tend to shut down or even stumble over what it is that I actually want or what I want to communicate to him.
Do you think he's having the same issue?
I would say yes.
Yes.
I would say yes. Yeah. He's kind of having trouble communicating what he's feeling and what he wants as well. Okay. And I know I can tell that he doesn't want to say anything that's going to hurt me. So then that kind of tempers how he says certain things. It still doesn't come out right.
Well, I know from experience, which is something that I'm really happy to hear when you're talking about your story and you're explaining what's going on with your Latin lover, is that most women misinterpret what men are saying to them. And they in turn get triggered and start saying things back to them because guys, truthfully, aren't always the best at communicating things that are not comfortable for them. They try very, very hard to say it in a way that's not going to hurt you, and probably a good 7 out of 10 times actually make things worse.
Totally worse. My lovely Latin lover took me out to dinner because he wanted to give us time to talk about everything that was going on, because this move is going to happen very quickly, and even the plan for it happened very quickly. So we haven't really had that whole sit down, let's talk about what's going on and where we're going to go from here. He says, let's have dinner tonight. Let's go out and give ourselves some time to talk. Mostly, though, he wanted to give me time to talk because he assumed that that's what I wanted to do, which in general I do. I love to know things, and I love to express myself. But I wasn't quite prepared for this conversation, and it didn't come out as smoothly as I would like it to in my head. He basically told me that he was totally okay with whatever I decided I wanted to do as leading up to the point of him leaving, which to me sounded like, I'm totally cool if you don't want to see me anymore because, I'm about to disappear. Peace.
And for every normal woman out there, that feels like shit.
It felt like shit. Yeah.
It feels like total, complete, and utter shit. So I hear you. I hear you completely.
Yes. So in that, I then responded with, okay, well, that feels great to know that you're totally cool with me just not wanting to see you anymore. And of course, that's not what he was trying to say. He would rather continue to see me before he leaves. But that still left me feeling like, okay, well then, and then you're just going to bounce. And that's it. Disappear. Then, by me kind of acknowledging that, he then was like, oh, well, I didn't realize that you were interested in long-distance relationships. And I said, I'm not interested in long-distance relationships. I'm interested in you. And that was the end of the conversation.
I'm laughing because I know exactly where everything has gone from here. And I know some of our listeners right now might be thinking, okay. They might just be completely confused. But I do want to say, I do want to reiterate that I liked what you said at the end, that I'm interested in you. I thought that was a really, really nice touch. Now, I know that conversation did not end up where you wanted it to. You and I have had another conversation about it where we talked about, and this is really, truly important for all women out there to hear, and Steph knows this, but sometimes as women, when we're in the situation, we forget it. We completely just let it roll off because we get caught up in high emotions when it comes to men that we really like, because we get into that vulnerability and we're not very comfortable with it as smart, single women. We're super comfortable, doing everything we need to do at work to climb the corporate ladder, to build our lives outside, but being vulnerable in a romantic setting,
It's so hard.
It's so very, very hard. So you are having this conversation with Latin Lover. He's trying his damnedest not to hurt you, and all he's doing is just smacking the shit out of you emotionally again. Yes. And again and again. I was very proud to hear that you did, eventually say to him, very important piece, which is basically that you matter to me. But the other thing, and we're going to circle back to what I actually started saying about all of this, is that the lesson in all of this is you always have to end up looking at a guy's actions versus his words. Because there are men out there that will say the right thing constantly. But if you look at what they're doing, and I know you've known a few of these men, Steph, I've known a few of these men, but if you look at their actions, they are contradicting everything they're saying.
And actions with men always, 100% of the time, speak louder than what they are saying. Now, it's great when you get a guy that he gets it. He knows exactly how to speak to women. But I'm going to be honest, ladies, most men don't really get it. So their actions aren't always congruent with their words aren't always congruent with their actions. So monitor a guy's behavior. If maybe he doesn't say the right thing, but if he's calling you, he's showing up for you, he's there for you, those are the telltale signs that you need to look for if somebody has sincere, genuine interest in you. Can you elaborate on that, Steph? Because I want our ladies out there to know what you and I finally figured out and what happened today.
Okay. I guess, would you like me to throw in some of the back end information on this as well?
Yes, actually, Steph, I do. I want you to elaborate about Latin lover. But I also, before we step into this story a little bit more, I want women to know one of the things that I love to do with women when they come to me for help with their love life is that I help them identify the patterns that they've had for a very, very, very long time. One of Steph's patterns was she used to jump into relationships very quickly and into exclusivity and just forget about all of her other options in men. And something we teach at havehimyourway.com is to open up your options to the other men until you find your forever guy, or indefinitely if you so choose. But again, Steph had a pattern of not opening up her options once. She'd open them up for a little bit for a very, very short window, and then she'd shut them very quickly when she got into a very exclusive relationship. And that wasn't playing out the way that she wanted to. So Steph and I have reworked some things, and she's actually not exactly an exclusive relationship with Latin lover. They have more of, I guess, not an open relationship, but an open concept relationship is what I would call it, meaning they're seeing each other right now and they're not seeing anybody else because a lot of things are up in the air right now, but they have not committed to a boyfriend girlfriend relationship at this point. And for Steph, this is brand new territory, and it's fun and wonderful and scary as shit. So go ahead, tell them all about him.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's scary and wonderful and challenging, but also kind of the best, because what has happened, I think not having jumped into an exclusive relationship with Latin lover gave me a different mindset about everything. It kind of also keeps him on his toes a little bit as well, like in a good way, in the sense that we still pursue each other.
I agree, from what I have seen.
Yes.
Plus, when we were talking just a little bit ago about watching a guy's actions, I mean, he treats you amazingly.
Like gold.
He is so good to you. Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly the same setup that everyone should have, because I always encourage women to keep their options open. And right now they are dating each other exclusively, but they're not in an exclusive relationship, which there is a difference. This was a pattern that Steph had to address because of the fact she had always jumped into relationships too quickly, and it wasn't working out for her. On the other hand, she also has been getting a little nervous about how he really feels about her. And that's something I need to remind all of you ladies, is you have to, all the time, look at a guy's actions. If his actions say, fuck you, he means fuck you. If his, words say something else, well, if you don't have the congruency, forget it. It's not there yet.
Yeah. Men can tell you whatever they want you to hear, but if they can't show you what you're looking for, then
your options and other men should be way, way open, or you will never get him to match his actions to his words.
Latin lover. Oh, goodness. I don't know why I'm getting shy about this, but he has been so very good to me in so many different ways. Number one, he has taken me on some really amazing dates. I would say every third or fourth date that we go on, I get beautiful bouquet of flowers or chocolate or some other small little token of affection. He maintains contact with me on a daily basis, is always checking in to make sure that I got places okay. For instance, early in the morning, he was calling me around the time that I should have gotten here. And it's really reassuring to have that kind of attention from a man that you're seeing. And just because we have some challenges right now, and I got a little caught up in my head about everything, does not negate those actions. He has shown me through his actions that he definitely cares for me and most likely shares the same interest in me as I do in him.
I couldn't agree with you more, Steph. Okay, single smart female, it's time for the final thought on today's show.
Life and dating are supposed to be fun.
And if it's not fun, you're doing it wrong. This is Jen.
And this is Steph.
Don't forget to subscribe to our show in iTunes. And if you'd like to submit a question to us, come see us at singlesmartfemale.com. And if you just want to come play around and learn more about Mantourage dating, come see us at havehimyourway.com.
Talk to you next time.